Well, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. We've been looking through the book of Mark for the last couple months, and we finished it yesterday. Finished with the resurrection story. And I thought it might be interesting to look at the resurrection story in another gospel, John's gospel. Matthew and Luke have similar stories, though I like how Matthew has the angel scaring the guards. That's pretty cool how that works. But I want to read John's gospel to you. Some interesting things about it. And then tomorrow we'll look at some of the appearances that Luke records. And then next week I'm going to be, I'll be here Sunday, but I'll be traveling to Nashville next week to visit my grandchildren. So we won't have it next week. And then when I get back, we'll do the book of Acts. Chapter 20, verse 1 of John's gospel. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." Well, Mark and Matthew and Luke all record that Mary Magdalene was one of the women who went to the tomb, found it empty, and she has run back, obviously, and has gotten there first, and has told Peter and the disciple that Jesus loved, which we all know is John. So she's told Peter and John. So Peter and the other disciple started for the tomb. Both were running, but the disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. Now, poor Peter. I mean, his denials have been recorded. His temper tantrums in the Bible recorded. His cussing has been recorded in the Bible. And now it's even going to record that John can outrun Peter because he gets to the tomb first, but John doesn't go in. He bent over and looked in at the strips of linen lying there, but did not go in. Then Simon Peter, who was behind him, arrived and went into the tomb. He saw the strips of linen lying there, as well as the burial cloth that had been around Jesus' head. The cloth was folded up by itself and separate from the linen. Finally, the other disciple who had reached the tomb first also went inside. He saw and believed. They still did not understand from Scripture that Jesus had to rise from the dead. And so they've come, and Mary Magdalene has went and told them, and Mary Magdalene is coming along as well with them. It says, then the disciples went back to their homes, but Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. And so the angels are sitting there. The tombs really weren't that big, if you remember. I'll show you a picture of it. This is what a typical tomb would have looked like there and there. That's the garden tomb. And they asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They've taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. "Woman," he said, why are you crying? Who is it that you're looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet returned to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am returning to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord," and she told them that he had said these things to her. So Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene, and she doesn't know who he is. She sees some angels, and then she turns around and sees a guy she thinks is a gardener. The garden tombs really can get you in that kind of framework when you go there. And again, I think that it's more likely that Jesus was crucified and buried where the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is, though there's another place that N.T. Wright has talked about that might be it, and I'm going to visit it in December when we go. But the garden tomb has the hill with the rocks on it that would have been looking like skulls, has a tomb at the bottom, and it has kind of a garden area. It's a really pretty place to go, and I always take groups there because I think you can envision what it would look like for real. We always do the Lord's Supper there. But she sees a guy she thinks is the gardener, and she doesn't. The Bible records that John believed that Jesus had been resurrected, but didn't understand. Mary Magdalene doesn't think that she thinks that somebody's moved the body, and so she sees the gardener, and then she doesn't recognize Jesus, and then Jesus speaks, and she recognizes his voice. And she tries to hang on to him, and Jesus says, "You can't hang on to me yet. I've not gone back to the Father." And but I like what Jesus told her to tell them. He says, "Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am returning to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." After the resurrection, we can call God our Father along with Jesus because we become the adopted brothers and sisters of Jesus, our God and our Father. That's powerful to me, and that's the message that Jesus sent with Mary Magdalene. A very powerful message for us today to know that God is our Father because of what Jesus did on the cross and then the resurrection. Well, we looked at the resurrection accounts and two things. Tomorrow we'll look at some more appearances from Luke. He has a unique one on the road to Emmaus, and we'll look at that. And I hope you have a very good day and walk in the resurrection power. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.